And we were doing so well too. And this wind it's just about down to zero. So we got northeast about 2 knots of true wind. So it's still not quite enough to even lift the clue of the code 0. And we're also now starting to fight the tidal current. So it always just gangs up on you. There's Petite Manan. We've picked up some good wind, but now we're fighting the tidal current. It's a good 1.5 knots of current, not to 1.5 knots. That's running dead against us. But if the wind keeps up, we still probably will make it in before dark. Hopefully once we get past Petite Manan, the current will slacken off, because it really just, the current, there's very little current just back a couple of miles ago. So it could be the water circulating around Petite Manan here. Well, I didn't make it into Prospect Harbor until after dark. Prospect Harbor is mostly a commercial harbor. A few yachts in there, but most of the boats were commercial lobster boats. And I think you can see why it's not too popular with yachties. Its exposure to the south makes it rolly, even with east to northeast winds in this case. So I'm eager to get going around to Bar Harbor. Very little wind in here, but it'll pick up to a good 15 knots once we get out a ways. I love those whistle buoys. Oh, we even got some current with us. Well, there's Scudic Island. Going through the little passage here. That's Scudic Harbor up there. Oh, God, is it rolly out here. And no boats in there. It's a picturesque anchorage. Well, picturesque harbor, but a little too exposed in most conditions to be an anchorage. And crouched under the clouds there, that big island is Mount Desert. Not Mount Desert, Mount Desert. Even though it smelled like desert. But if you call it Mount Desert, that'll immediately give you away as being someone who's from away. Always got their fireplace going. It's actually pretty chilly. It's in the 50s Fahrenheit. And now once we work our way in amongst the islands, the wind dies. And we're fighting current. That's par for the course. Yeah, we're getting set down on this lobster pot here. I'm feeling a little bit of wind. There's quite a bit of swell to put the Tahatsu to work. I'm still worried these swells will dunk it. So we gotta get in a little further here. But it's difficult with now that we're in doldrums and we're fighting current. Looks like we're gonna get a little more wind up here. We'll take it. Is it gonna backwind us? Come forward. Well, I got Mighty Mouse working here, but I still gotta be a little careful because some of these swells coming in. I could still drown them if I'm not careful. Alright, well, we'll let Mr. Tahatsu take us the rest of the way. We're just up here. Hopefully there'll be enough room to anchor in there. Again, another strange anchorage. This is Bar Island, that's Bar Harbor. So, but at least some cruisers have said it's better to anchor on the north side here because you stay out of all the traffic and you get less swell. Supposedly Bar Harbor tends to be kind of rolly. It's like the downtown of Bar Harbor, huh? As promised, it looks like a tourist town. This is definitely a tourist town, and not set up for visiting yachts. You know, the public dock there, it's mostly runabout. I think it's mostly locals use that, and otherwise it's fast ferries, and then you got the day schooners, the dude schooners, and then the lobstermen. They're presumably selling their lobsters to the restaurants there. Oh, it looks like we gotta move here. Rotterdam. These guys service the cruise ships, but I don't see any cruise ships in. I wonder where these guys are going to. Maybe the cruise ship is anchored way out past Porcupine there. She's in irons. Can't decide which tack to fall off onto. Well, I figure if I crash into you, it's no big deal. It looks like the bottom is kind of rocky. I picked up no mud and my anchor chain was fouled. It was fouled around the rock. Yeah. Yeah, it came up clean, and when I was hauling in, it suddenly just let go. Yeah, you probably got a nice little cat's cradle there. Boy, it sure is beautiful in these parts. And when you get a breeze, the sailing in here, I'll tell you, it just can't be beat. There you can see the overfalls. That's probably the strongest current. You can see the rocks coming off the shore. Just make sure. Judicious distance. Got a few sailboats over there. A guy fishing over here. Other than that, we pretty much got the whole place to ourselves here. All right, now we're in the fickle winds, and we're still fighting current. We're fighting about a knot here. After winding my way in, I dropped anchor in the wide but fairly well sheltered Flanders Bay. So it is Tuesday, the 13th of September. I'm just kind of out for my afternoon stroll around the neighborhood here on this foggy Maine afternoon. I'm here in Flanders Bay. As you can see, I'm the only one on the anchorage here. There's just a couple of local boats there on moorings around the corner behind Treasure Island. And I've been here since Saturday. I sailed over on Saturday and So I'm on day 3 here. The past 2 days there's been absolutely no wind, so no chance of sailing anywhere. And today it's starting to come in from the south. That's what's bringing this fog in, the south-southeast. And it's supposed to come southwest and then west tomorrow and pick up pretty good strength, kind of 15 to 20 knots. So plenty of wind, but it's dead on the nose. Because at this point I'm headed back to Quahog Bay, to Brunswick. And then it looks like a frontal passage. The front's going to pass through tomorrow night, Wednesday night. And then Thursday into Friday, they're predicting northwesterlies, which is a close reach. Our course is generally west-southwest of Brunswick, so that should be a close reach. And I'm thinking at this point, because it's starting to get kind of late in the season there, it's starting to get to be time to think about heading south, that I'm just going to do an overnight from here all the way back to Quahog Bay, which is a run of just a little under 100 miles. So that's the plan. It's a lovely and quiet anchorage, which I don't mind for a little while at least. Right now I'm working on writing another article, and I'm also working on another piece of music. So if you got, I find if I have creative projects to work on, I don't mind sitting in an anchorage for several days. Some cruisers, I find that if they don't have work that they carry with them, if they're sort of off on vacation, or just retired, a lot of times they have to constantly move from place to place all the time. They sort of have to keep in motion, because otherwise just sitting in one place begins to drive them nuts. And then other people, such as myself, they do either creative work or actual, kind of telecommuting work from the boat, in which case they don't mind sitting in a place for a while because you're busy. And then there's people who find jobs on shore, and they're the people who often sit in one place for months, and in some cases get stuck there. Well, I guess I shouldn't say stuck there, because they choose it voluntarily. But I've known a lot of people like that, in Florida and the Caribbean. They stop to work and they've been there now for 10 years. But that's just one thing I was thinking about, because a lot of people, sort of the dream is that you're going to finish up working, and then you're just going to sail away and sit on a beach somewhere, and drink martinis. And while that'll be wonderful for a little while, most people find, unless they're doing something productive, it'll tend to, they'll become bored and also just dissatisfied. I would say that's a fair warning. If you think that by getting out of the rat race and just going somewhere where you can sit on the beach all day, it's going to sort of solve all your life's problems. Most people, I think, find that's not the case. I'm just speaking for myself. What you really want to do, sailing away from the rat race, is simply leave a job that you did to earn money but you didn't really like, to doing a job that maybe doesn't earn much or doesn't earn anything, but is doing something that you really do like to do. Anyway, just my thoughts on that. So I'm waiting for this bar to dry out. It's this bar that goes across. It's almost dry. It makes quite a nice little running track there to do intervals. That's another thing about sitting on a boat all day, is you need to get some exercise. So I get a little rowing in, and then I'll beach the dinghy there and run up and down, do several laps running up and down the beach. Get a little cardio in, and always improves things.